Lorgnettes, perhaps? What are these? Something strange. Take my fist away and you'll see it's a scissors. How strange. These are called help scissors, to help small children learn how to cut paper or string. The small child puts their fingers in the inner holes and the parent or guardian or teacher on the outer holes and guides the child the correct way to cut paper or string or whatever it is. Sometimes cardboard, but it's tough. It's a very clever idea, that, to help little children learn how to cut things. And that's the subject really of this collection, scissor novelties. The most mysterious perhaps is this one here. This is from Harry Eng. Wonderful puzzlist. That's his little telltale knot he always did. How did you get those scissors into the bottle when there's a too small hole at the top? A mystery. It's a challenge. That's what he loves doing, challenging people as to how he gets things into bottles. And that's a fairly simple one, in fact, but it's a nice one. So, scissors in a bottle, a challenge. A very mysterious one of the earliest ones I got was this one here from the left-handed shop in London, in Beak Street, all those years ago. But last on with this because it's got some fine writing on it, and this is a nice idea, the ambidextrous scissors. So this way it's going to say, hold in the right hand, there's a word right there. So you hold it in your right hand and now you're able to cut properly. If you swap them over like that, 180 degrees, now it says left hand, so you hold it in the left hand and that will be the correct way to cut with the left hand. Ambidextrous scissors. What a brilliant idea. Very, very clever. Well done, left-handed shop. You're always using scissors to cut things to size, very often if it's clothes or cushion covers or clothes, and so you usually need some sort of measure. And this one here is an example. They have many of these, in fact, with a little ruler on the actual blade itself, which is quite helpful. It's only about 3 centimetres, but it's a help for people who are trying to measure something fine, where they don't have to reach for a tape measure because the measure is already there on the scissors. If you want something a little longer than that, this one here is clever. It's got its usual cover, but this is scissors with tape measure incorporated. Nice one too. A long tape measure, proper steel measure. Click, 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 and then you push the button at the top. All goes back in again. That's a very clever use for scissors. Some of them are just bits of nonsense. This is if you're a bit bored and want something musical and there's no radio or television, you can do these, and these are musical scissors. This old man came rolling home. Oh yes, I think it's a well-known tune. So musical scissors, and every time you do that, it advances the tune by 1 note. That's a nice idea. Another battery-operated one, which is very clever and high technology, is this one here, which has a laser incorporated. So when I switch it on, now we've got a nice laser line for me to cut down the paper with, and have a nice straight line to cut through, following the laser line. Very straight edge you can make. That's a brilliant idea. Laser scissors, and then we can turn it off at the end. Sometimes scissors are used for puzzles. This was one example. How did you get the scissors in? But this is a more, perhaps, mysterious one. It's got rings there, and the idea is the scissors are really forming extra loops, and you've got to disentangle that. It's quite tricky to do, I would think. This is Will Strybos's stuff, who's a renowned puzzlist, and he's made this about 20 years ago, I think it was, at a big puzzle convention. How do you get all the rings apart and it all comes off? And there's scissors there in the heart of it. That was a nice one. And the very first puzzling scissors I ever came across was something that Martin Gardner wrote about in the 60s. He just said, get a piece of cord, put it through a scissors in that particular sort of knot, attach this to a chair leg so you can't actually then you don't tell yourself not to undo that, but and how do you manage to take the cord off the scissors without cutting it? You could actually just cut it, of course, but the idea is not to cheat it, to find a way of disentangling it. And it's rather nice to be able to have something which is just made with scissors, which you have in the house, a chair leg you have in the house, and a piece of cord you have in the house. So instantly you can make a mechanical puzzle from scissors. I love some of the shapes they come up with. There's 2 very nice animal shapes here. This one here as a rabbit, of course, with its arms akimbo. Big long ears at the top, that's a very nice feature. And it cuts quite well too, and little flat feet at the bottom. And then one here from Japan is like a little bird with little eyes there. Little eyes, and you take off the beak. And this one is also battery operated, so it makes funny little sounds when you turn on the thing. Chocky, chocky, chocky. Yes, and there's another switch setting. Ah! Ah! Oh, something's hurting, but lovely idea. So Japanese scissors looking like a bird and musical at that. Very strange. There's a huge number of folding scissors. One of my friends collects antique folding scissors. He has hundreds of the things. This is just 2 samples of folding scissors. That will go in your pocket without damaging your coat because the blades are well protected. And you just push it forward like that and instantly it springs open. There's a nice spring at the top here and that makes a nice comfortable pair of scissors. So when you finish cutting, you just pull the thing back again and put it back in your pocket. A slightly more wacky one is this one here, which is a little ring. To make this one work, you simply push it up like that, click it, and then oops, it clicks. And that's a pair of scissors. Put your fingers through, and away you go. Cut, 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 cut. That's nice. And it just goes back in again very neatly. Something which is fairly practical because there's 2 heavy magnets in, so it'll actually attach itself to a metal surface. So it's a perfectly normal pair of scissors, but it's very stylish actually, I think. But I like the idea of having a way of holding it against the refrigerator or some metal surface, which I think is very sensible. And my last pair of scissors is what they call multi-bladed scissors. These only come on the market recently. The idea is if you haven't got a shredder and you need to get stuff, confidential waste done, you do it with this pair of scissors. Multi-blades, and you cut one way and you cut the other way. So I've got some documents here which I don't want anyone to have. And I better get busy, hadn't I? You do a bit of that and then you do a bit of this and you make a jolly good mess, and I've got a lot of confidential stuff to cut up, so I better get busy. Hide the evidence. First sheet done.